On the menu today is chicken, but not just ordinary chicken. I'm going to be making my pepper honey chicken with chicharrones. Pepper honey chicken with chicharrones. Well, the first part maybe you can figure out some of the ingredients, but have you heard of chicharrones? Well, you've probably heard of chicharrones, the crispy pork skin. We're going to be doing the same thing today with chicken skin. But first we have to get our chicken marinade ready and a spread ready for the finished product today. This bowl is going to hold our marinade. This little ramekin is going to hold our spread. For our spread, I'm going to squeeze in about 2 tablespoons of honey. And for our marinade, I'm going to squeeze in about 5 tablespoons of honey. Our next ingredient in each of these is mustard. It's a French stone ground mustard that I'm using. You can use any sort of stone ground mustard or a brown mustard. To our spread, I'm adding about a tablespoon of this French mustard. And to our marinade, I'm adding about a tablespoon of this French mustard. Now our spread, this is it. These are the ingredients, so I'm just going to mix this together. This is just a honey mustard spread. If you don't like as much mustard, you can cut back on the mustard. So just like that, that's what we're looking for. This is going to go in the refrigerator, and we're going to move on to finishing our marinade. The next ingredient in our marinade is 3 tablespoons of pepper jelly. I'm using a Trader Joe's pepper jelly. You can find different kinds of pepper jelly in the store. If you don't want to use pepper jelly, you can just add 3 more tablespoons of honey and some red pepper flakes, maybe about a teaspoon. But this is going to be 3 tablespoons of pepper jelly. I'm also adding 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and half a teaspoon of salt. And we're going to mix this up. Take your time here. It's very thick at this point. Let it start to incorporate before you speed up, otherwise the soy sauce will be splashing out all over everything. Once it starts to incorporate, you can speed up. Make sure you scrape the bottom of the bowl here, get any honey that's stuck there. All right, let's have a little taste. Oh, very nice. That's what I'm looking for. All right, we're gonna set this aside and get our chicken out here. So for this recipe today, I'm gonna be using 5 pounds of chicken thighs. I've got 3 here to show you what we're gonna be doing to get these ready. First thing is, we're just gonna take the skin off of these. Easiest way, get your hand under there, take the skin off. We're gonna set this skin aside in a bowl for a few minutes. Another one, get your fingers under there, rip the skin off. We're just going to take these thighs, and if there's any excess fat here, just going to go ahead and trim that off. You know, the excess big pieces. This is what we should have when we're done with all the chicken thighs. I'm going to go ahead and prep the rest of them, and I'll bring you back when we move on to the next step. So here we have our skinned chicken thighs. I've trimmed off most of the excess fat. There's always going to be a little bit of fat, and that's fine. Fat is flavor. Now I'm just going to pour our marinade over the chicken, rub it all in. This marinade is actually closer to a glaze, but it's going to impart a lot of flavor to this chicken when we get it out to the Weber Kettle. I'm going to toss everybody in here. Make sure you get a good coverage. All right, that is good. This is going in the refrigerator for a couple hours now, and we'll move on to making our chicharrones with that chicken skin. So here are a couple of the chicken skins that we removed from those thighs. This is what I'm going to use to demonstrate. First thing I want to do is just take off any of these loose bits like this. Any real stragglers. You can use kitchen scissors or just pull them off. Then what we're going to do is you want to get some of the excess fat off the underside of this skin. I'm just going to take the back side of a spoon and scrape gently. You're not taking all the fat off, just sort of the excess. Any of the loose bits of fat. You see it start to come off there. If you need to, you can switch it and use the front side of the spoon. If you need to get a little deeper in there. Again, don't take all of the fat off, just the excess. We're not bearing down hard here. Just scraping sort of gently to see what comes off. So you can see how much fat we scraped off here. So we're gonna set this piece aside. Let me just show you on the back of this one too. Let's see if we need to trim this guy up. We've got some pretty big fat deposits over here. We're just gonna square this piece off like this. And then scrape. Get those loose bits of fat off. Around the edges, you'll still have fat that's sort of a thicker layer. That's okay. If you scrape that too hard, you're just gonna tear the skin. You can scrape it a little bit, but don't bear down too hard or that skin will rip. Get those loose bits off there. There we go. I'm gonna put that aside, finish up the rest of these chicken skins. I'll bring you back when it's time to crisp them up. All right, it's time to get our chicharrones going and in the oven. That oven's preheating to 350 right now. We're gonna put the chicken skins on this wire rack as the first step of preparing them. Just wanna spread them out here. Now, if I don't fit all of them, that's fine. I'll do a second batch later. You want the outer skin side up. That layer that had more of the fat down. Fit as many as we can in here, trying to keep them separated. That looks good. Now on top of this, I'm putting a piece of parchment paper. The purpose of the parchment paper is to help prevent burning. You want this to crisp up and dry out without burning, and it's such a thin, delicate strip of skin on there right now. Actually, it can overcook quite quickly. On top of this, we're also gonna place another baking sheet just to try and hold them flat. We're gonna go for about 25 minutes like this, then we'll take the baking sheet and the parchment paper off, check and see how close we are to the crispiness we want. Might go a little further than that uncovered after that point. So let's get these in the oven. All right, let's get our future chicharrones in here. We'll check those in 25 minutes. All right, we've been going for 25 minutes. Let's take a look at these. I sure smell chicken skin in there. Yeah, it's definitely not crisp yet. It's starting to dry out, but I'm gonna leave the top off now. We're gonna go for probably another 15 minutes before we check this. All right, it's time to check our chicharrones. And just like saying chicharrones. Seeing the rest of that fat start to render off here. You can see they're starting to get crispy, but not there yet. Not there yet. And go another 10 minutes and check them. So here are our finished chicharrones. Dried out nicely, still a little sheen of some fat on there, but I just want to show you something. So here it is. Just gonna break it like that. It's crispy chicken skin. Who does not like that? Now, if you were using this for another purpose, you could season this when you put it in the oven. Put some salt, some pepper, some sort of rub on it. Very light though, you don't want to go too heavy. But for our purpose today, we're gonna break this down into smaller pieces, just using our hands, because it's gonna combine with our chicken to make some fantastic chicken salad sandwiches in just a little bit. Now, you could take a knife and chop this up, but I gotta tell you, it's so brittle, it just flies everywhere. Let me show you the easier way to do this. Just take your pieces, put them in a bowl, and start breaking it. Break it down into little bits. These are gonna add a nice crunchy, chickeny texture and flavor to our chicken salad. And the pieces will break down a little bit more when they're stirred up in the chicken salad. As I mentioned, and as you can probably see from the glistening pieces of these chicharrones, there is still some fat on the surface. We don't want too much fat on the surface of this, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna transfer this to a plate with a paper towel. So we're just gonna sprinkle this on to the paper towel, spread it out, so everybody gets some surface area, some air to dry some more, and some of that paper towel to help soak up any of the excess fat that's on there. So these are gonna sit for about 20 minutes out in open air, then they're gonna go in the refrigerator until we're ready to use them in our chicken salad. So I have the Weber Kettle set up with the vortex about, well, it's almost full, maybe a little more than 3/4 of the way full. I'm just gonna start getting my chicken thighs on here. I don't know if I mentioned these are bone-in chicken thighs. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get our lid on. I'm gonna check these in about 20 minutes. All right, we've been going for about 20 minutes. Let's give these a look and check their temp. Really good looking. Let's check our internal temperature here on this one, kind of as an example. It's one of the bigger ones. And we're going for 165 to 175. That one's showing 150 there. So some of these bigger ones, I want to turn so that the side that was away from the vortex is now facing it. Smaller ones seem to be doing pretty good where they are. Some of these really little ones, I'm going to start moving further away. We're going to get our lid back on and keep cooking. I think 10 more minutes, we should be done. All right, we've been going another 10 minutes. Let's see if we're done. Hit this with the Thermopin. 168. We are good. All right, I'm going to get these off here, get them inside so we can move on to the next step. So here are our chicken thighs. They've cooled down a little bit. They're not fully cooled, but I want to get the meat off of the bone here and get it into pieces that we can further break down. So I'm just going to take hands and start pulling this good meat off of here. You know, while we're doing that, we might as well take a taste. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. That honey and hot pepper jelly, oh, that is nice. And again here, if you come upon any big pieces of fat, go ahead and discard them. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of the chicken off these thighs. I'll bring you back when it's cooled down and we start breaking it down for our chicken salad. So our chicken is cooled down and I just wanna go ahead and start chopping this down for the right size for chicken salad because we're gonna make a chicken salad sandwich out of this. So I'm just gonna start breaking these pieces down, more into the bite-sized category. I'm going to continue breaking this down and I'll bring you back in a couple minutes when we start building this pepper honey chicken salad. All right, we have our chicken all broken down here into bite-sized pieces for this pepper honey chicken salad. Let's start adding our other ingredients. First thing I'm going to add is 2/3 of a cup of some chopped celery, 1/2 cup of chopped scallions, 1/2 cup of mayo. And this is really all to taste and what you like in chicken salad. If you like more mayo, less mayo, add more. Or not as much. Give this a good mix to start here. Now I want to add a little bit of salt and pepper here, kind of a shake of salt. And again, this is to taste. Put as much as you want or as little as you want. I like a lot of pepper. Give this a mix. All right, let's go ahead and give this a taste, see if we need to add any more salt or pepper. I'm not adding anything to that except the chicharrones to come because that tastes good. Now we're just going to add our chicharrones here, get a little bit of crunch, a little bit more of that chicken flavor. We're just going to mix these in gently. They're going to break down a little bit in here as we stir. Now again, you can add whatever you want here. Some people add, raisins, dried cranberries, fruit, nuts. This, I'm focusing on the chicken flavor. There we go. Let's build our sandwich. All right, first thing I want to do is get a little bit of that honey mustard we made on the bottom here. Just spread it around. I'm going to put a piece of lettuce here. And then we're going to get some of our pepper honey chicken salad on here. If some guys escape, get them back into the boat. Oh, I can hear that crunch of those chicharrones in here. I'm going to put a little more pepper on top here because I like pepper. I really like pepper. Sliced avocado on top there. And then instead of spreading the honey mustard on the top piece of bread, I'm going to drizzle it right on the top here. Top it off. There it is, our pepper honey chicken salad sandwich with chicharrones. I spent a long time making this today. it's time to taste. Now you're probably saying to yourself, that's a lot of work just for a chicken salad sandwich. Well, you saw when I tasted that chicken salad as I was testing it with the final mix and how good it was. I can tell you, this is going to be amazing, but let's see. That is bleeping fantastic. That honey mustard is such a nice finish on this with the pepper honey marinade that we did. They work really well together. I've said that in other videos, how when you're combining different parts of a cook, different flavors in each one, as long as they're related and they work well together, it can just add layers and layers and layers of flavor, and that's exactly what's happening here. Oh man. The crunch of those chicharrones, to me, that replaces what might be what I like in here normally, which are nuts. Great chicken flavor off of those as you bite in. Again, you're keeping the flavors consistent. It's chicken salad with chicken pieces, and you have crispy bits of chicken skin. So if you're grilling some chicken up, remember, it doesn't have to just stop at chicken where you pick up the piece of chicken and eat it. You can take it, break it down, add the right ingredients, and create your own really amazing chicken salad